Imkan, this is about the new Riviera between Dubai and Abu Dhabi. You're doing this project. What I want to know is how much of it are you going to invest in? And give me the dollar amount. What are you all in for on this project?
So Al Juf project is a project that's going to be a second home, part of the Emirates Riviera, what we call the Emirates Riviera. The first phase of the project is going to be 2 billion dirhams. The total project size is going to be 15 billion dirhams.
Jassim, I mean, in terms of how this fits into your wider portfolio, in some of our previous conversations, you always made clear that you had a very bullish view on some of the property plays. Is this a sign that it's time to buy, that perhaps the property market in the UAE and perhaps particularly in Dubai has bottomed out?
So real estate is all about product. So we believe this product is the first of its kind in the market. It's the only product, second home, which is away from the city. Fully integrated coastal development. So that's why we think this is something different, and the price for that is going to be also interesting.
So I want a little bit more detail. So the project size is 15 billion dirhams. You're in for how much at the start? You're in for 2 billion dirhams of 15 billion dirhams?
2 billion dirhams is the first phase of the project.
And that's what you'll invest?
Absolutely, which is going to start construction in the next 6 months.
Okay, and then how much more will you put in?
As the project develops, as it sells, then, you'll have to end up with the 15 billion.
Yeah. I mean, how does that sort of translate in, again, how much more appetite you'd have for more deals? Are you willing to look at more property agreements in the UAE? Is that a priority for you?
So Yusuf, as you know, we do a lot of real estate, whether it's in the UAE or the GCC or even in the UK. Real estate passes through cycles. A real estate developer always has to be there with a product. So we believe in the UAE, real estate is bottoming out, especially with the latest incentives and the latest budgets that have been announced. We think, this is the end of the bottom cycle.
So would you say this is the best time to buy right now? So could we see more capex from your end into real estate?
Actually, you've been seeing it, and this is just the latest capex into real estate that we do. So we've been very bullish on developing real estate in the past year, which is a sign that this is the right time, especially on the cost side. Today, costs are better to build at the moment.
Can we ask you, obviously, we understand that you're a bidder for the ABRAAJ Assets, that you have revised your bid on some of those assets. You're looking at real estate infrastructure, 1, 2, and number 4 buyout funds. When will we hear news of whether you've won or not?
So what I can tell you, Menace, is that we're still engaged in the process. The process is not over yet. I expect the process to continue for at least a couple of more months. And hopefully you'll know in a few months' time.
Can I ask you what it is that, because if we're pragmatic about this, some of the assets that you're potentially bidding for were some of the biggest issues for ABRAAJ. What gives you the confidence that these are the most attractive assets? What do you see that the market doesn't see?
What we do is distressed and turnarounds. And this is the perfect opportunity for us and for the investors in the ABRAAJ funds. We've proved in the past that assets in the MENA region can be turned around positively, and this is what we hope we'll do with the ABRAAJ funds.
There's also a story, of course, around Goldilocks. You've been one of the fund's biggest investors, and that's undergoing a debt restructuring. In the past, at least, you were initially opposed to the restructuring plan. Have you changed your view on that since?
You mean Noble Group?
Yes.
So Goldilocks is an investor in Noble Group, and Goldilocks have agreed to the revised debt restructuring terms, which are favorable to equity investors. I think this is a great position, a win-win position for all the parties involved.
Yeah, so that means you've changed your position a little bit.
Absolutely.
So this way you are endorsing and you're favoring the current,
yes,
structure.
Since the equity position have doubled. So equity was 10% for equity holders in the new Noble, and after our negotiations, it became 20%.
Can I dig a little bit deeper? Because when this deal goes through with Noble, one or two people have said to us, look, Noble Group are going to need a partner. They're going to need a deal on the day that they come back. How do you make this business sustainable? Is it through a big deal very quickly and very early? Is that what you envisage in your mind's eye?
I think from our perspective, we can bring a lot from the Middle East, and that's why Noble have announced a joint venture a few months ago with ADFG to create a platform in the Middle East with ADFG. I think this is going to help them in connecting Asia to the Middle East.
Is it going to be capital or partners that you bring? What is it that you're going to bring to the table? I understand the capital side of the equation, but what else are you going to bring from GCC to that Noble
Opportunities, potential partners. This is what we will bring to the table.
Yeah. I know you've got a war chest of that's sizable, and that's probably quite heavy if one were to carry it. If you have a global canvas of opportunities, what are you most excited about? I know you've got exposure to tech. I mean, considering everything, what's the one recommendation you'd make in terms of investments?
Capital markets in the GCC.